This is a product review from a company that reached out to me about a week or two ago and said, hey, you want to check this out? I said, sure. They said, okay, we'll send a unit over or whatever. And I said, okay, why not? Just do a quick review for us and tell us what you think, honestly. And I'm like, okay, well, why not? Okay, well, they sent me two. And let's take a look at what we got. Here's the second one. Looks like the same unit. And what we're looking at today, the company that sent to me was called Binize or Binize. Excuse if I didn't quite get that perfect, but it does run on the Android operating system, which most head units do nowadays. It's got the 7-inch 1024 by 7600 1080 display. Okay, well, right, okay, and then capacitive screen touch, so it does have the touch screen. It's got its built-in Bluetooth, phone book, and then the A2DP Bluetooth music, which is, I believe, the better quality there. Wi-Fi support for Wi-Fi hotspot access, mirror support for Android and iOS. Navigation, built-in mic. Okay, very good so far. Built-in radio. That's actually a tuning radio, I believe, not to actually radio it to your head unit, but I could be wrong. I'm not really sure what's in this box yet. And it can support audio and video decoding for 1080 up to 4K playback. Support for a rear view camera input, driving recorder input. Oh, okay, that's neat. Like a dash cam kind of thing, I think is what we're thinking here. Internet app download, install, and then a video input, video output function, and high power amplifier, built-in hi-fi stereo support for multi-language. Okay, well, I think we went through just about all the functions on that. And again, excuse the noisy birds today. Good grief, what is going on? Okay, so what do we have here? Okay, this is a nice looking display. Overall, it's just, I mean, I'm thinking about this now, and I believe this was a little bit less than the cost of those other ones that you just kind of sit on your dash, but I don't see why you couldn't actually do some kind of 3D thing if you didn't want to mount it in your dash or can't remove your head unit. I do see that this is thin enough that you probably could make some kind of 3D printed thing and mount and have it somewhere like on your dash like I did in my previous videos. So very cool. So the idea is here, this is all your audio and video inputs, and there is a ton of them. So I guess if you're really rigging up your car. Now I'm going to explain something on this review. I can't, as I said in the past, I can't actually install this into my vehicle because my head unit controls functions of the car, and without it I won't have those functions. So if I were to use this myself in my vehicle, like I said, I'd figure some way of mounting it up on the dash and having it like that, and maybe see if I can find somebody to 3D print maybe a little casing just to hide some of this stuff on the back. But you do want to, obviously, it's well ventilated and it's made to be ventilated, so you do want to have that available for it. And what I'm looking for here is, this must be the backup camera maybe, and I didn't see the backup camera, so I guess that's something that comes separate maybe. This is just an extra USB hookup, but I think that might be needed because I didn't see one on the actual unit. So we may have to plug that in to test it. And then we got all your connectors for wiring it up in your car. Now, in this situation for this part, what I'm probably going to end up doing is just basically figuring out what wire goes where and just kind of taking a quick look. And if I'm correct on everything, that's illumination. So, okay, so I wouldn't be able to use that, but I'd probably use the battery, and then one of these is a constant. I can't remember which one to help it retain memory. But basically what we can do is hook this up to a battery just to test it out and power it up. So let me get a handy dandy battery available and a way to kind of rig this up so we can test it out here. Okay, and back again. we got this connected kind of guerrilla style here because of, obviously, as I said, I can't install this in my actual vehicle, but we can test it out. I got the power leads connected from the battery properly. If you watched any of my other demos on other units, I did mess up one a while back trying to rig up the backup camera, or the camera that came with it. But anyhow, I did hook up one of my extra boat speakers I had sitting out in the garage. So let's just power this thing on and see what it has. Well, first off, you got a navigation thing. Basically, it's your straight up navigation through Google Maps, from what I can see. Your phone functions, which Bluetooth in, so when you hit the phone function, it obviously connects with your phone and you can dial out and call people. And if I had done this the other way, I could have all my contacts in there, and pretty functional. I mean, it's pretty much your phone connected with your head unit. Then you get your music, your radio. The radio we're not going to be able to test out. I'm sure it works fine. There is an antenna jack, but no. We're not going to bother with that. Yeah, whatever. Your settings, you can go in here, and basically it's your Android settings for setting up different apps, deleting apps, changing time and date, and so forth. Wallpaper, if you want to change the background wallpaper. Video, yes, you can play video with this right on your dash. That is very neat indeed. Of course, not while you're driving. Car settings, I'm a little hazy about here on what this function actually does, but I think it's probably to make things integrate between the Android-based system and the software and everything on here, so that it's a little more friendlier for a car situation. And then, of course, if you go into this next menu, which I keep trying to slide it over, but if you go into here, you can change your audio settings. You can mess with your graphic equalizer here, and add a little bass and high end into the actual speakers that are connected in your vehicle or car, RV. I guess you could use this in anything, really. I did skip over a little part. I thought this unit came pre-installed with CarPlay and Android Go, or Android Auto as it's called sometimes. It is not. I could not find it. If it's here, then the manufacturer can correct me, but I don't think this model actually came stock with it. I did do a full reset on the unit, double checked everything. Nothing. Apparently, some of their other units do have it built in, but it is easy to add. You can always get one of the little boxes and download one of the apps into it, and then you can have the CarPlay on the unit. I haven't tested that in this video. Maybe if there's a call for it, we can test it in the next video with the little dongle box. But honestly, if you're looking at one of their products, you may obviously want to consider one that does actually have the CarPlay. This one, as sent to me, is just named the car DVD. I don't even see an actual model number on it, but they do have different models, so obviously that could be a thing. My birds are singing again. These are your aux connections, or oh man, look at all these things. I mean, yeah, you could have your car totally outfitted, or vehicle totally outfitted, if you got a van or an RV, even an RV or something. Or I mean, you could use this in a boat, I suppose. I'm not sure how it is with saltwater. Another thing for auxiliary imports, your Bluetooth, which of course allows you to play your music from your phone into here. So basically, I can't say that it has CarPlay, but it does give you a lot of your phone functions. Your music, it has built-in nav. It can use the Wi-Fi signal from your phone via hotspot and basically interact with the internet. So you even have a Chrome browser on here. You can browse the internet. I was looking for things earlier. Car kit, well, let's go into this. Car info, I'm not really sure what it does. This again, I think is similar to what I saw on the main screen. I think it's just more interaction options with certain vehicles, but again, I'm not totally sure. I think it's more of an integration thing. Car settings we already went over. File Explorer lets you go through the different files stored onto the actual unit, and if there's an SD card, which I don't believe there's actually an SD card slot anywhere on this. Interestingly enough, oops, and I hit that button again. Some of the stuff now the one thing I did notice it does have is something called the Miu Drive Screen. And what's neat about this is if this and your phone are on the same network, you can basically mirror your phone screen to this. So in a way, like I said, you do have CarPlay, but it's when you do that, it's orientation of your phone. So if you really want to fit into the screen, you got to turn it this way. And I think you can kind of control your phone with it. I didn't fool with it too much. Let's just go into maybe an app. Let me see if this thing is connected to... No, it's connected to my home network right now. I won't be able to actually do it, but basically I think you can navigate some functions of your phone with this particular app, which is interesting that it does have that function but not the actual CarPlay module. Maybe it's something you can add on. I mean, maybe they'll get back to me and say, yes, hey, you know, this is how you do it. This is where your music's stored, again, from the first screen, and then there's another menu here with a few other functions, your Play Store and camera and different adjustments and stuff. Well, first question, I guess, probably should answer is, how's it sound? Well, I gotta say, I was actually pleasantly surprised, and I like... I mean, I don't know what song this is. I've just installed stock on there. I don't know if it's copyrighted, so I'll let it play a few notes, but it sounds crisp. I mean, this is not an installed speaker, but it sounds pretty good to me. I mean, I'm actually very surprised by the sound quality of it. It does have the built-in mic here, other stuff that I was going through. This is your GPS receiver for obviously when you're using the Google thing that you would rig up. And then this is another input, which I think is just another like number 2 or an aux 2 thing. So just something else that was included with it. But overall, I find the touchscreen works good. The only thing I had a hard time was when I was trying to kind of get this set up for you to see was I had a slight issue with when I was holding it. I kept hitting these buttons and the screen kept going back to the home screen, or I'd power it off by a mistake. But again, if it's in your car, you'll know those buttons are there, and they are handy to have for quick buttons. I mean, you can power off there or there. Your home button obviously brings you back to your home screen along with using the menus up here. It is an Android-based system, as I said. This returns you a previous menu, and then, of course, your volume up and down. Radio function, like I said, I can't really use it, and I'm not going to get anything in. There's no antenna connected, and there's just no way it'll actually happen. So, but I'm sure the radio quality is just fine on this unit. Overall, I'm going to give the build quality and everything. I find sometimes when I was messing with a few things, it was a little laggy, or I didn't get a response from it. I actually had to reset the unit when I first got it because I found it wasn't keeping my Wi-Fi for some strange reason. It just wasn't staying connected on my Wi-Fi. So I did a reset, and it seems like everything is fine and working absolutely perfect. So as far as a unit you want to install as a CarPlay or Android, like I said, no. Unless there's an add-on, they let me know, and I'll do a part 2 on this where I'll feature a little more on that screen I mentioned, where I can actually have it set up and play with it a little bit more, and maybe a little bit more on the Bluetooth function and the ability to surf and so forth. But for now, I'll give it not necessarily 2 thumbs up. I'm going to give it 1 thumb up. And the only reason why I'm doing that is just because I feel like most head units now should have the full operability of your phone. Again, you could probably add that for the $50 module, but I feel like at this point they really should be built in. But I mean, I like the styling. It's nice and square. It doesn't have an odd shape to it or anything. So I'm sure if you got, depending on your car, most radios are pretty much gone back to the square form and gotten rid of their weird ovalness and weird angles and stuff. So on most vehicles, if you have a double din, especially on an older, say like an older Honda or Toyota or Hyundai or something like that, you got a double din means basically your radio takes up 2 spaces. It's almost like 2 different mounts on it, and they do give you the mounts to match up your car, and a truckload of wires you would obviously have to figure out on your vehicle, getting that wired. But it's easy enough. It's just matching wires up and knowing what to connect to what, and being careful about it is the main thing. If you don't know how to install car stereos, usually it's best off you get a professional or somebody, a friend or a family member that does know how to do it. Watching YouTube videos and stuff like that sometimes can be helpful, but again, doesn't take a rocket scientist. But then again, if you want to make sure you're getting it right, you want to have somebody that knows what they're doing. For now, that is the end of this part of the video. We'll come back in another week or two. I'm going to play around with this a little bit more and see what it has. They did send me a second unit. Now, these are demo units, meaning, or previously used, meaning somebody used these, returned them, so that's why they sent them to me to try out. However, the second one, upon trying out and taking a look at, to see if it had the CarPlay built in, which it looks identical, except I did notice on the back it's silver instead of like black like this one. So I don't know if it's an upper model or lower model or what, but it's different, but it's locked out. Whoever had it before did some kind of update to the Android system, and it has some kind of login thing. So that is it for this IJDM. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you disliked it, well, you know what to do there too. And please hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time.